Alright, all you daily routiners out there, welcome back to the Indy Radio Arcade. And now it's time for us to go into another edition of the $64,000 question. But before we go into this week's question, we asked you last week, either or, will you fly in a plane with the cast of Con Air as employees, or decide to go on a cross-country road trip with Cheech and Chong? And several of you out there would sound off pretty good on this one by saying the following. Can we have John Cusack waiting for us in that cool car at the airport while we get transferred to Cheech and Chong? Another person would say, how in the world do you expect us to pull this off? We don't have that star power. And the last person would say, while getting out of the plane, the same exact plane from Con Air, right when Cheech and Chong met him at the airport, hey man, you know where your bags are? We gotta go, man. And according to the Maestro, he had a musical soundtrack background for you independent artists out there. So you got a triple prize reward, all for this week's challenge, so congratulations. And to the other two, you can make a couple of phone calls, and I got a feeling you could be able to pull it off. I mean, that first guy just did. And to the other person, you mean the car that he had, which looked like a Shelby Cobra, which was actually a Corvette? According to the Maestro, if you got the connections, yeah, you can pull it off. And with all those questions answered, folks, I think it's now time for us to go into this week's $64,000 question, where we asked you, while doing your daily, day-by-day routines on a 24-hour basis, have the group Soul Coughing travel around with you, singing their classic hit song from their album El Oso, Circles. Yeah, very simple and straightforward challenge for this week, folks, because we're on vacation. But before you answer that question at home, you're gonna have to wait another 2 weeks there, Circle Chasers, because it's time for the Maestro to roll out those machines, and it's time for us to bring the Indy Radio Arcade for this week to an emphatic close. But don't worry, if you miss anything, and I do mean anything from this 8-bit goodness, we got you covered. Because you can catch the show again one more time, all the time, on our SoundCloud, Facebook, or even Tumblr pages, named the same, only known as Music Village Radio, under the hashtag Indy Radio Arcade Lvl.104. Which, according to the Maestro, is how many routines you have to do for this challenge to win the $64,000. Yikes, Maestro, what are you trying to do, kill him? And if you guys want to figure out other crazy and zany things that we still got prepared during this Vacation Wonder Arcade month, like a whole bunch of routines you gotta do during a challenge that Maestro set himself for this week, you can go ahead and check it out on our Twitter/YouTube pages, still named the same, only known as Agent 0012. And before we head out for the night, we would like to thank, as always, you, the game show contestants out there, for listening in to another 8-bit vacation edition of the Indy Radio Arcade. And we would also like to thank you, the independent artists out there, for delivering that musical goodness like you always do. And keep up the great work, guys, because you might be involved in this week's $64,000 question if we can't get Soul Coughing to do the challenge with us. Yeah, so keep your ears open. And speaking of people that we may need their services for a $64,000 question in the future, we would like to thank our musical guest for this week, none other than Technoax, with his song Basic Wobble Fest, which is the intro theme for this week's edition of the Indy Radio Arcade. And like always, Technoax, keep up the great work, and we can't wait to hear what you got coming down the tubes next. finally, last but not least, we would like to thank you, the independent gamers out there, for coming out with all those sweet video game hits, clips, and high scores that we had a chance to mention during this week's show. And like always, guys, keep those games a-coming, keep those games a-flowing, along with those high scores, because now you got a high score to beat during this vacation-like month. And I know you're not gonna sit around and let somebody take the high prize that you deserve. So go get them. And I guess with the creepy janitor giving us that look to Van Moose, well, I give him one of my Hawaiian hats so he feels like he's on vacation too. I'm DJ Smokey on behalf of the Maestro saying, when there's smoke, there's fire. And we would like to thank you for playing another 8-bit vacation edition of the Indy Radio Arcade. We're finished, man. We're done. Game over, man. Game over. And good night, everybody.